Church, they done freed Dr. Pepper from her hostage-based confessional. Do we think she helped or hindered the people? I got my notes. I hope y'all got yours. Let's get on into this damn mess. Y'all, so let's jump right on in. Now listen, to my returning church members, baby, welcomes, and to all my new people, please make sure to smash that subscribe button and to also click that bell notification so you are notified every time I decide to upload a video. Now baby, listen, my spirit today is giving vulnerability, but my outfit on the other hand is giving Lil Kim with the ill nana, okay? Listen, y'all know how Lil Kim loved to wear all the designer stuff and the chains and all that stuff all at the same time, so she's the one that kind of inspired my look for today. But listen, if y'all see the shirt, okay, it looked like Chanel. This is not Chanel, baby, because the way my bank account's set up, in the eternal words of Kevin Hart, I can't afford Chanel, okay? I can afford Sha, okay? The nail part is what I'm working on, okay? So listen, y'all pray for me that my damn channel get more successful and then maybe one day I could afford the Chanel. No, listen, I'm not even the designer person to begin with, okay? This shirt is actually from this brand in the UK called Criminal Damage, okay? And I found it down to cheap and cheerful ASOS, okay? So I love me some ASOS, some H&M, and a good old thrift store. So I ain't worried about the designer stuff at this point in my career. Maybe later, all right? Now let's get on into our story today, right? And so like I said in the intro, honey, they done defrosted Dr. Pepper and brought her in from her confessional because mama was MIA, honey, missing in action, right? Now listen, today's episode was about building trust and exploring vulnerability. Okay, so let's get on into it. And let's talk about Jasmine and Airris, right? So I'm just going to go over when she talked to each couple in terms of, you know, what she gleaned from, you know, the wife, what she gleaned from the husband, and how we can apply that forward, right? So when she sat down with Jasmine and Airris, Dr. Pepper told her, or Jasmine told her rather, that she had to learn how to rebuild her self-esteem, right? So she says she basically, you know, she lived in a town when she was younger. She knew who she was. She had, you know, her circle of friends and her circle of influence. And then basically at a certain point, they moved to somewhere else. And she was basically left at a detriment in terms of finding out who she is, where she fits in, and, you know, and I. Now, I understand that. Like, I can get that. When I was 9, my family moved from Florida, where I had all my friends, my damn, you know, security system, my damn, you know, circle of influence, and we moved up to the DMV, okay? And it was a new place, new people, new surroundings, and that can really be detrimental to, you know, a child's development sometimes, but in a way, it also makes you stronger because it makes you more adaptable to change, right? And that's essentially what Jasmine had to learn. She had to learn how to change. She had to learn how to find herself. Now listen, in Mama's story, she didn't find herself at the place that she moved to. She ended up finding herself as she came back, okay? But I think the most important piece, baby, is that you found yourself. But that's kind of that whole thread of self-esteem that they've been weaving in since the last episode, right? Now, she goes on to tell Dr. Pepper that she had to learn how to have a disagreement because she didn't see it growing up. Now, listen, I thought this was such an interesting conversation because y'all drop down in the comments, honey, growing up, all I did was see my parents fight, okay? I'm telling you. Then people could fight, and I'm not talking about domestic violence or anything dangerous. I'm just talking about bickering, okay? That's all they did was bicker. Why you put the plate in the sink? I thought you was gonna wash my car. Where the light bulbs at? It was always just these little meaningless, petty arguments. But I think it's important for children to see their parents fighting, not in a bad way, but disagreeing, and also, you know, seeing them on the point of reconciliation, right? Because what does that teach you? Every issue is surmountable, okay? And you need to see that as a child in order to learn, you know, interpersonal relationships. Because listen, quiet as it's kept, your parents are probably your first introduction to interpersonal relationships, okay? And so if you don't learn those nuggets of wisdom from them, then sometimes you can be out in these streets not really knowing how to navigate, right? So it was a very interesting conversation that, you know, her parents, if they had disagreements, they basically figured it out, you know, behind closed doors. And I'm not saying that, you know, fighting in front of your children is the best thing to do. I think you have to have a balance. Like, don't have the big fights in front of your kids, but, you know, have the little disagreements because it teaches you life lessons, okay? And clearly, mama didn't get that, which is why she seems very non-confrontational in her relationship with Airris, even though she's not getting what she needs, right? Now, let's move on to him. So for Airris, he said that the loss that he's experienced in his life leads him to run from his emotions and not get close to people. Now listen, I'm sure we heard about this in the beginning in terms of his father and whatnot, but baby, he said, you know, his father was killed. He said, you know, his friend in school basically committed suicide. And he also said another friend got ran over by a car. Okay. And I guess that person died as well. So listen, I haven't experienced loss to that level, so I cannot be a determining factor in terms of how that, you know, relates to someone's psyche and how they approach relationships. But just from a damn psychological perspective, I can understand how loss leads you to not want to get close to people because you don't know if that person's going to be here tomorrow. Okay, so I get that. And so maybe in a way, you know, all the loss that he's experienced makes him stay away from people, not build those emotional connections, reduce everything to sex, and not get to a higher plane of a relationship with somebody. So I always love when, you know, Dr. Pepper comes on because sometimes, you know, listen, even a broken clock is right twice a day. No, let me stop. Sometimes Dr. Pepper don't be getting it right, okay? But when she's right, baby. And I can always roll with you when you're right, okay? And she basically brought out some cardinal conversations with those two, right? Now, do I think that that's the be-all and end-all of why Airris acts the way he does? No, but I can definitely see some contributory factors, right? Now, listen. As part of the whole Dr. Pepper, you know, talk and as part of that experience, she gives them basically a kind of bucket of questions to ask each other to create vulnerability, build trust, intimacy, etc. Right? Now, the thing I can't take is this. Jasmine, you sat down with the lady, okay, and you basically was talking about how you don't know how to have disagreements. You don't know how to have those conversations. You want to have more deep emotional conversations with the man. Then the man basically, you know, commits to the damn experiment that they're giving you in terms of the jar full of basically, you know, prompt responses or whatever, or prompting questions. He basically commits to the activity. He's going as deep as he can. Listen, when the man is talking about death, okay, there is not many more deeper topics than death, okay? Listen, when you are heading down to the graveyard, you are getting into the depths of your soul, okay? And it really just irritated me at that moment that she could not go deep with the man, okay? She couldn't even get to the first level of deep with the man. He's literally trying, he's asking you these questions, he's giving, you know, long-based responses for him, okay? Because listen, most of the damn time you married to the sleepy dwarf of the 7 dwarfs and he seems none too pleased and none too interested in what you're saying, you get a point where the man's actually interested in what you're saying and then you don't have much to say. Now listen, in order to dissect it a little bit, I think what we're seeing, like last week, we basically saw Shaq be checked out, okay? I think this is Jasmine being checked out in real time, okay? And just like Jasmine's mama said, we're going to get to that in a minute, okay? Just like Jasmine's mama said, y'all both get in your head, okay? You get in your head and then you're unable to live in the damn moment, okay? And I think that's what we saw in terms of that exchange between Airris and Jasmine. She couldn't get into the moment because she was so living in her head at that time, okay? But listen, the thing about Airris is you're gonna have to give a little to get what you want, okay? So listen, he's making the first step, okay? Albeit I know he's making small steps. It's not the progress that you wanted, but you kind of have to glean onto it and hold onto it and embrace it so that you can hopefully have a chance of getting to where you want to go, okay? So I think, you know, body language is important, energy is important, and when somebody doesn't really want to do something or doesn't really seem enthused with it, you can feel that and it makes you close up, right? So listen, I don't know whether the damn, you know, experts called Jasmine's mama or whether, you know, Airris got on the phone, honey, got on the hotline and called that lady up, but she showed up, honey, to try to help the people, right? Now listen, The first thing I thought of when I saw, Jasmine's mama baby is, the universe and the Lord basically press copy paste from Jasmine's mama face to Jasmine, okay? They are the same people facially, okay? Listen, if Jasmine takes out some of that magic hair, okay, puts a little blonde in there, okay, and gets a little bit older, that is your mama, all right? So Airris, if you want to see what that lady gonna look like when she get older, look at Jasmine's mama. Okay, now that's a smaller point, but y'all know my ADD be acting up and I can't be paying attention in a deep level all the time, okay? So that's the first thing I thought of when I saw Jasmine's mama, right? Now listen, she was dropping some good gems and, basically just reiterating, y'all need to build the emotional connection, get out your head, this is life and this is marriage and, those things go together and go hand in hand in terms of trying to get y'all to a better plane of a relationship, right? Now listen, I'm all about parental influence and parental help where it's necessary, okay? But was it me? Or did that lady not think through the sex conversation before she started down that road? Okay. I was literally sitting there like, mama, pull up, mama, pull up. Okay, you into the weeds, you into the doldrums. Okay, you don't need to be all up in the damn sex life. Okay, all you need to know is that they wait until the end of decision day. Now her mind and her intentions were in the right place, but when she was talking about something about, you never know what might happen tomorrow. And if y'all don't seize the moment and don't have the sex, then you might not know. Girl, what were you trying to say? Y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what you think Jasmine's mama was trying to say regarding the sex. I don't particularly know. And listen, I was so disgusted by the conversation in terms of talking with, my wife's mama about our sex life or lack thereof that I couldn't even absorb anything that lady was saying. So listen, I believe in parental intervention. I believe that parents can give you some great, nuggets to glean from, but sometimes in some topics ain't for all damn situations. Okay. Now listen, let's move on to Kirsten and Shaq, right? Now, when they sat down with Dr. Pepper, what she got from her was that her parents divorced under a scandal. Let's stop there, okay? Let's stop our story there. Church, what you think the scandal was that the parents divorced under? Okay, that's what I wanted to know. They just glossed over that part. They divorced under some scandal. Was there cheating going on? Okay, was he, absconding with money from the church fund? Like, is he on the run from the law? Like, tell the people the story, honey. Kirsten, is that the reason why your apartment looked like First, Last, and Security Deposit was stressing your ass out, okay? Because y'all have to keep moving from apartment to apartment, okay? Because the damn, father running from the law and y'all on the move. No, listen, I'm getting off into the weeds. Let me get back to the matter at hand, okay? Listen, this episode was too exciting for me. Okay. Her parents divorced under scandal, didn't know why, and basically she's not used to sharing information because she had to learn how to deal with her problems alone. Listen, if there was ever an Oprah aha moment, that was it, okay? So now I understand why she's so close and guarded to the vest with all of her information, because when she was younger, listen, if we do not heal our past traumas, we are destined to repeat them in our current lives and beyond, okay? And in her damn childhood, what she learned was she didn't feel safe enough to have people to invest her emotions in, so she invested those emotions internally, okay? And when you invest your emotions internally, you become, your damn savior, your listening ear, your all in all in terms of any issue that you have, okay? So listen, she couldn't share her life and she couldn't share her story and the song in her heart, okay? Because she was used to sharing it in her own 4-page letter to herself, okay? So now I get it and I understand her just a little bit better, right? Now, in terms of Dr. Pepper talking to Shaq, he said that his mom was there. She was physically there, but she was emotionally unavailable. And he didn't know his father until he was 17. And basically, he always saw this whole notion of this, utopian perfect family. And he kind of, he set expectations for people without realizing them. And so to me, that's kind of like the story of their relationship, right? You go into it thinking this is going to be a conventional marriage. My wife's going to want to kiss me. My wife's going to want to have intimacy with me. My wife's going to want to touch me and be attracted to me. You go into it with these preconceived notions, albeit, you know, in most situations, those preconceived notions are correct. At Married at First Sight, when you don't really know what you're getting, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more nuanced, right? So in terms of the setting expectations, he kind of had to unlearn that behavior, figure out who Kirsten is, and basically move forward with that. So I thought that that was a great conversation in terms of how, you know, our past traumas and our past lives can kind of manifest themselves into our current situation and beyond, right? And so he basically said, you know, he was giving her intimacy, but, you know, she didn't really want it, and they've been baby stepping their way into it. And so he would always do these forehead kisses, which we saw, right? And I think I said a couple reviews ago, listen, you start with the forehead, you move down to the cheek, and then eventually, you know, you head on around to the lips, okay? Do not let that lady deter you from kissing her on the mouth, okay? And he said he pulled back on it or whatever because he got busy at work. I told y'all last week, Shaq is just like me. If one area of my life ain't working out, I focus on something else. The damn university, the mentees, my 9 to 5. He was like, listen, I ain't got time for your damn forehead kisses no more, okay? Because I got business to take care of. But listen, then she started talking about, you know, I miss my forehead kisses. I need my kisses. Now listen. If this ain't the damn biggest 360 in Married at First Sight history, honey, listen, they did this painting activity, okay? Now, the first thing that bothered me about the damn painting activity is why that lady come out that damn room wearing white. I know it's little and I know it's petty, okay? But of all the colors, like I literally, my mind is always working 10 steps ahead, okay? And I'm thinking it's much easier to get that damn stuff out of black clothing, darker clothing in the laundry, or to hide it, okay? I understand that the paint stuff is supposed to be washable or whatever, and it's not supposed to stain your clothes like that. But listen, you could help the process out a bit, Kirsten, okay? Why you come out in like, you know, that damn white bikini with the damn black sarong, okay? Listen, you could have done better, but was it me, honey? Or was that a very intimate type experience? He was rubbing on her, creating this mosaic, making her look like she was in the damn, you know, Wakanda, the Woman King, okay? You know, I wanted her to do a little African dance, but that's just me and my damn ADD. But listen, I think what I said in the beginning, in terms of the beginning of the season, holds true. If she could get past, you know, his physical, right, in terms of what he's not, in terms of her ideal archetype, and recognize his fringe benefits, she would realize that he's a good man, okay? And he kind of holds a lot of potential for her. And I think that's what he's unlocked for her in this episode, okay? When that man sat down with her and she was basically talking about her real estate business, and he was, you know, helping her design that logo and telling her he could design the damn website or whatever for free. Baby, listen. I don't know about y'all, but I started to get turned on, okay? Listen, when he offered to do that stuff for free, y'all don't understand, okay? That damn Dasher in this channel, this is a one-person damn army, okay? It is all me, okay? I am damn marketing, I am editing, I am talent, I am everything, okay? And when that man said he would help her design that logo and build that website for free, I was like, listen, Shaq, if it don't work out with Kirsten, swing on by my house, okay? Because I need me a website built for free, and I can give up some services, okay? But listen, this is not about me, but listen, do y'all think they had sex? And furthermore, listen, Kirsten over here talking about she don't like kissing because she not good at it. She surely found her way around that man mouth with that damn strawberry and them damn whipped cream, okay? Listen, Kirsten, you a lie and the truth ain't in you, okay? Because you just needed to get more comfortable with the man. You ain't had no problem slobbing him down. And y'all, drop down in the comments, was the purpose of the strawberry in somebody's mouth to transfer it to the other person's mouth? Because every time you saw it, it would start in one person's mouth and then end off in somebody else's mouth and they chewing, okay? I ain't never done that before. I'm very, very dodgy with bodily fluids. But again, this is not about me, right? Now, do y'all think they consummated that marriage, honey? Because she found her way around that man's mouth, and clearly she might have found her way around some other things, because based on the previews, honey, they done consummated the marriage. Now, whether it happened that night or subsequently, we don't know. So y'all drop down in the comments and let me know. Did they consummate it the night of the painting, or do you think it was shortly thereafter? Okay, and we'll talk later. Now, let's move on to Nicole and Chris, right? And first and foremost, let's talk about this damn GOATs activity. Now, I don't know, maybe I'm kind of conflating different shows together, but isn't like the GOAT yoga something that they seem to go to every season or every other season. I'm like, it kind of takes the novelty of something away when it happens all the time. I'm confused. Is this, am I confusing the show, or is this actually something novel? I don't know. Y'all drop down. But I faintly remember some goat yoga from like the last season or the season before. I'm not sure. But anywho, you know, I really like the goat yoga. One day I want to go. But the thing that struck me about it is, do y'all think that Nicole tells her dad everything? Because that man has been, you know, you want to talk about a 360, not a 360, because a 360 means that you start here and then you end up right back here. It's a 180, okay? It's a different thing. I wasn't good in school when it comes to the math, even though I was an accountant. Don't judge me, honey. Now listen. That man did a complete 180, okay, because he was skeptical of him from the beginning. Now he talking about, you care for my daughter and she cares for you and that's good enough for me and stuff like that. Do you think that Nicole has told her dad all the stuff? And the other thing that it begs the question of, you know, I told y'all how Chris can be manipulative. He starts crying, he starts pouting, he starts, you know, putting ideas in her head and trying to make it seem like it's her damn ideas or whatever. Do you think that part of her trauma is not recognizing that that's what he's doing, right? Or going along to get along because she likes the man so much, right? Drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about that. But I'm kind of struck by whether or not she realizes from, you know, the dog thing to the whole apartment thing and the lease thing to, you know, him pouting and crying when he doesn't get his way. Does she realize that these are forms of manipulation, that she's being manipulated in a certain way? Or is she just glossing over it with rose-colored glasses because she really likes the man? I'm kind of torn in terms of what I feel about it. But the dad said, you know, you can go from calling me, you know, dad, or, you know, having my respect to actually having it with his air quotes and stuff like that. So listen, I think it's great when the family is on board, and, you know, God knows we don't need no more hating ass family members in terms of Nicole's dad from the beginning and Airris's hating ass cousin Fallon or whatever her name is or whatever. So I thought it was great that he's embracing, you know, Chris as his damn son-in-law and their relationship as a whole. I just hope that he's not doing it under false information, right? Because if you get the outcome you want, it's based on what the inputs were that you put in. So bad information leads to bad outputs and kind of, you know, titles given without all of the information surrounding it. So I don't know. Anywho, in terms of them sitting down with Dr. Pepper gleaned from her that her bad relationship led to her being afraid of being vulnerable. You know, it's the whole notion of once bitten, twice shy, okay? Vulnerability leads to weakness. And listen, I can't get over that damn story of her telling it in terms of that man that she was dating before, taking that cigarette and saying, if you love me, you will let me burn you, okay? But for that to be one of her first relationships or her first relationship, like, that is so deleterious to someone's spirit in terms of teaching you about love and what love is or what love isn't, and you're confused because you want to make it work. But, like, you know, he's probably good in some areas, but he's horrible in others, and he does these things that kind of take you to somewhere else mentally and give you a warped perception of what a relationship is, right? So once bitten, twice shy, and she had to learn that her vulnerability is actually her power in the situation, okay? It does not make her weak, because she was always hiding that aspect of herself because she felt that he would use it against her or use it in a way that was going to make the relationship get even worse, right? And she would kind of shun away from the good guys because, you know, she didn't feel like she was worthy of them, and she always stuck to what she knew, okay? In the eternal words of TLC, you know, you can't stay by the damn lakes and rivers and stuff that you used to. I know I'm messing up the quote or whatever. Y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what it actually is, okay? Keep to the lakes, rivers, and streams that you used to. I think that's part of it. Anywho, but if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always gotten. So in a way, despite Chris's manipulations and the crying and all this stuff, I'm glad that he's an authentically nice person to her, to his core, and that helps her kind of undo some of her bad relationship, you know, tendencies, right? Now, in terms of Dr. Pepper talking to him, his eternal vulnerability was too much for some women, and he had to find the right one to appreciate it. So it's basically what I just said, okay? Like, you know, he was always Mr. Nice Guy. Some women would basically, you know, shun away from that, take it for granted or whatever. And you have to find the right one for you, okay? And clearly, based on what we've seen so far, Nicole is the right one for him, okay? Nicole is a better woman than us all, okay? Because Chris, though he's nice, he gives me red flags all up, down, and through, okay? But, you know, maybe I'm making too much of it, and y'all can drop down in the comments and let me know. Now, let's move on to Gina and Clint, right? Or as I love to call them, Teeth and the Gordon's Fishermen, okay? Now, listen. Gina and Clint have been so focused on fun that Dr. Pepper was like, listen, this is not friendship at first sight, honey. This is married at first sight. And I understand what she means, okay? Listen, you get to this point, okay? You have a disagreement. You rebuild. You're trying to rebuild trust. You're in the same apartment. You're in separate bedrooms. You're trying to just have fun with the person so you can get down to having, you know, a series of platonic fun experiences that eventually make room for more romantic stuff to happen down the road, okay? But eventually, it becomes put up or shut up time, okay? You have to venture out your comfort zone in order to have any true, you know, semblance of growth, okay? No growth ever came from being stagnant or being in your same ways, right? So when Dr. Pepper sat down with her, she gleaned that she was raised by a single mom, and she basically learned at an early age that it was easier to talk to women than men. So with women, she feels safe. With men, she doesn't really feel safe until, you know, they basically get to a better plane of thinking or a better, you know, relationship level, right? So think about that. You know, sometimes our parents unintentionally through their own trauma can kind of put their trauma on their children, right? So I'm sure that Gina's mom did the best that she could, but when you are a single mom just trying to, you know, make ends meet, just trying to make it work, just trying to survive from day to day, you know, you can probably transport to your daughter some of your insecurities in terms of being alone. You can only rely on yourself. You have to be strong. Like, you know, I have enough to deal with. I need you to be okay. Like, I don't need you to be an additional burden. I'm sure she never said those words to Gina, but sometimes through someone's actions and what they're going through, you can kind of assess that you don't want to add to their already full plate, right? So that's what she kind of got. And she basically also got, you know, she doesn't really, you know, have deeper conversations. It's not in her nature. She needs somebody to drag it out of her because she's always been used to kind of keeping those, you know, emotions and those things internal. Kind of like the same thing with Kirsten, but in a different way, right? Now, in terms of Dr. Pepper sitting down with him, you know, she gleaned that he's a walking open book, but he needs vulnerability and openness to know his partners truly. Because when he said he was in that damn long-term ass relationship, he was thinking it was heading down to, you know, marriage and children. And the lady was basically channeling, if you don't know me by now, you ain't never gonna know me, honey. In the eternal words of, I think it's Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes. I might be wrong. Listen, I'm off of my damn references today. Y'all Google it yourselves, okay? If you don't know me by now, you ain't never gonna know me. We just gonna leave it like that. But it kind of became the damn battle between open questions and specificity, right? And it was kind of a little bit irritating, right? You know, she was saying that he's always talking about getting to the crust, getting to deeper conversations, getting to know Gina at a different level, but she doesn't feel like he asked those questions to get there. Listen, girl, how could he ask the questions when he's trying to tread water just to make sure that you stay in the damn apartment? Y'all keep having a series of platonic great, you know, situations and kind of try to make room for that stuff later on. Like, he hasn't had the time to do that, okay? Because y'all had such a damn, you know, setback in the beginning, it took a bit of time for y'all to even be comfortable with each other, right? So if his questions for you are more general, it's probably more by design than anything, okay? He kind of has to meet her, making you feel comfortable and not going off the deep end, okay? Your ass is across the damn apartment in a whole nother bedroom, okay? He doesn't want to give you any sort of, you know, inklings or any sort of signs that you need to move your ass out, okay? Of the damn apartment and back to your house, okay? So you kind of got to mitigate your intensity or mitigate your disdain in the situation, right? And so she was like, she needs more specific questions. I don't know. That's a lot to put on the man. Specific questions about her life and stuff like that to make her open up. To me, asking open-ended questions is more appropriate because that allows you to decide whether or not you're going to be surface level or more specific. So just like Dr. Pepper said, y'all need different things in the relationship, right? One person is more open to open-ended stuff. One person is more interested in specificity. It doesn't make either path greater or lesser than, you know, either one. Y'all are just going to have to find a groove and move forward with that. But I think by the end of it, in terms of them sitting down, with the, you know, exercise bucket and pulling out the questions and, you know, asking and answering them, they kind of got to a better plane of thinking, you know, a deeper level of a connection and something more, you know, off of the surface level, right? So are they where they should be regarding intimacy? Absolutely not. But are they better than they were? Yes, right? So I think with Gina and Clint, what we have to have is we have to meter our expectations in terms of where they should be in this process and kind of give them grace in terms of where they are right now, while also encouraging them to take steps towards becoming more than friends, right? Because if you end up at the end of the situation with a friend, that's not going to make you say yes on decision day, no matter how great that friendship is, okay? If you don't have some semblance of a romantic connection, some semblance of an intimate connection, some semblance of a potential for an intimate connection, then you're going to say no and just chalk it up to, I just made a new acquaintance and a new friend. And that's not what the process is about. Now listen, I think that's really all I want to cover in this video, baby. So listen, if you liked what I said, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all social media at DatDamnDasher. And until next time, y'all, listen, based on these previews, let me find out that we going from married at first sight to trading spouses, okay? I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.